for this one. Adam, what was it that you heard me saying about my social media this morning as we added a wonderful teammate to support in that area? Like an internal person. What was it that you heard me saying about that this morning, so we can see what it looks like to go from like energy and yes, and here we go. And like, we're going to start there. Then we're going to drop into some fun energy. Then we're going to drop into some, heart-centeredness. We're going to hit all four energies. But I want to hit decisive, not over the top. Like, here we go. Like, what is that? Here we go. What does that look like in terms of action steps and process mastery, Adam, this morning on the Kathleen dynamic and Chaz?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Credible weekend. So what I heard you say was that there is an opportunity within simply your social media to create and build out an entire division, which could be considered an entire business, once again, around our platform and through the connections, which I made also the point of personal and intentional connections. We can, accelerate what we've created and what we've already done, as well as creating the flow in which the invite calls are made through the Real Raws and Real Raw Opens to bring people into the movement, and also to, of course, create like I said, massive acceleration within our elite as well.
So awesome. So how about, would it be fair to encapsulate me saying that we have deleted, diluted, and distorted an asset because we horizontally had moved away from it at a certain point in time? And that thing we moved away from was my Facebook. It was my LinkedIn, where we had a lot of traction and a lot of people. Now notice, you're like, wait a minute, you were going crazy this weekend making fun of people talking about 100,000 Instagram followers. Yeah, I was. Because what I'm talking about is, what do you do with it? And what's your depth of relationship and connection? And so the process was, how do we take not tripwires and other things? How do we connect and authentically have things to offer of mutuality and value to people, so they're no longer belonging to Facebook, they're no longer belonging to Instagram, they're no longer belonging to LinkedIn? Because my 5,000 Facebook friends that I capped out on, within about a 6-month attempt to do it, which is I wouldn't say highly, but it is a vetted list. It is vetted probably an 8.8 level, right? So these are real connections and friends, and people that we could do incredible things with. I would say 3,000 of them are people that belong on a Real Raw Open. So how do we make sure that if only 300 of them have been on a Real Raw Open, have come into the Unblinded ecosystem, perhaps because they misunderstood it, didn't understand it, how do we take this mass of people? Because if we call our core of elite, let's call it 80 people right now, right? If we call that core, I have 1,000. I have hundreds of people that are just like this amazing group and core. Not just like, this is an amazing group, but we have a lot more people that are ready to be like that, and to fall into the leadership of Ken Van Loo and of Elle Anderson and Bella Verita and Lorelei and Gina and Joe Hagan and TTP and Andres and Diana and Tatiana, right? We have so many people to talk to that want this. They just don't know it yet. And they don't even know what it is. They're like, yeah, he's doing that Unblinded thing, right? Didn't he do videos at one point? He doesn't do videos anymore. So how do we go back? How do we vertically innovate for something that was working incredibly, that essentially gave birth to this? Because the people, I would, if I wasn't doing 2020 vision videos, Adam, I wouldn't have met you. Because the person that introduced you to me, and you sat next to the Tony Robbins room, is somebody that started commenting on my videos originally. And that's how it happened. But the difference is, right? I developed relationships with people, right? That beget relationships with people. It wasn't me speaking into the invisible of a number of, real, fake, and somewhere in between people on a social media platform. So the idea is, and part of the strategy that we're creating Unblinded, and I know we make big, bold claims. I think we've been fulfilling on a bunch of them though. And we're going to create the greatest process of leveraging digital that exists on the planet. That is now squarely within the purview of this is how do we take and build your greatest 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery, and how do we digitally optimize them with the formula, with real raw, with you being paid to market and experiential market. That's what we're doing on a very practical level with real outcomes around it now, using my social as like ground zero beta test, and then expanding out with Adam's, Fernando's, and all of yours very, very rapidly. Because as we learn it, we do it. And of course, we have many, many beautiful, wonderful people supporting us, and that we're engaging and paying in those processes. So to R&D and learn and accelerate. And I am done. Here's what I'm done with. And I offer you to be done with it. I am done saying, hey, I know you're the expert. I'm just going to stay in my zone of genius. So yeah, you take care of this for me. I'm done. So if it matters for me in my life, and Ellen and Bella are like shaking their head, and I'm done ceding that power. Now I want to work with people, and I want to work with geniuses, but the same way that some people have really battled major illnesses by saying, well, I'm not giving over my health to a doctor. I'm going to co-create my health with a doctor and doctors and learned people. But I am done giving my future up to other people that my future is not their top priority. Like your future is your top priority and the people closest to you. So you are responsible for your 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery. You are responsible. And we at Unblinded are going to unblind to the flaws of PR, digital marketing, just like we're disrupting the space of coaching lovingly. We're not harming anybody, but we're going to get to the truth. The same way Tony Robbins wrote Money Master the Game, and I honor him, we're going to eventually write books about disrupting, like master acceleration, disrupting networking, coaching, digital marketing, and every other piece of the platform. Yeah. And that's not like this isn't like we're going to identify the problems. That's not what Tony did in Money Master the Game. What Tony did in Money Master the Game is he identified the solutions and the truth. Like he wrote the truth. So, and he wasn't attacking people. He just said, this is how to use money. Like, this is how to grow money. This is how you understand the math of money. And that's the truths that we're unpacking here. And so I say that and you're like, oh man, like I thought this was going to be so fun today. We had such a great weekend. I thought it was going to be so exciting. I expected you to be like, woo, and fun, and we're dancing. Heart and math. And that's what I wanted to illustrate first. That the exuberance doesn't lead to just like listening to a Rocky song to wake up this morning. The exuberance leads into process mastery, micro distinctions, in maximization through measuring and monitoring, in modeling, in time blocking, in innovation. That's what this weekend and weekends like it from us give birth to. And when I would walk out of a Tony room all these years, and I'm going to do it again in a week and a half, I'm going to go to the spiritual trip, and I can make you a bet that everybody's, and I'm saying this with love. Well, a lot of people are sitting there thinking about their ayahuasca, and I'm not knocking that, and it's wonderful and free as thought. And for some, not what I'm doing, but if they do, that's no problem. I'm going to be making sure that I'm trying to find the people whose thoughts are freed from ayahuasca to get into the 4 steps of process mastery the next day. That's what I'll be doing, right? And that's not happening in Tony's thing, I'm saying, but I'm giving the contrast that personal development begins with our self-mastery, right? And spirituality is a part of our self-mastery, but it goes nowhere unless it involves Zeus decision-making in process mastery. And maybe for some, that freedom of thought will be to make a decision to sell their business and go chill out on the beach and find a relationship and be with somebody amazing. Like, so just hear me. It's not mocking any process, right? Of whatever people do. I'm not knocking, I'm not judging, assessing. I'm giving contract that I will be waking up the next morning after these powerful experiences, and I will be on our calls and we'll be driving process mastery forward in love, in heart, because the magic is the byproduct of not only our love in our heart, but our process, influence, and self-mastery. That makes sense, Adam, to you?
It does, all of it. There's so much there. I think one of the key distinctions in when you described the disruption of the digital and the space that we're entering into, as you mentioned, the formula and the fact that the formula is going to be present, and even just in the language, right? What we're talking about, eliminating the concept of cold call versus an invite call. The language around, I mean, you said it, even I think vetted versus the concept of vetted as opposed to filtered, all of that. And when we also what you brought present to me just now was the concept of where the formula is so present is in the action steps that take place today after, a weekend like we just had. So there's just so much there. And the last piece you mentioned, not just demonstrating, not just identifying the problem. And I've been talking to Fernando about this a lot. We're able to identify the problem. Then we're finding the solutions, the truth, right? You describe that. And then, Sean, what you left out too, but you're very aware of, that we're proving it in the research and development laboratory. So we're not just telling people what to do, showing them what to do. We're doing it ourselves. Yeah. And then we're having the results and showing the numbers where the math comes in, how and why these solutions, and the truth is the truth.
Yeah. And that's what we're challenging Ken Van Loo, Bella, Elle, Frank, Joe Hagan, Deepak, D. Rush, Patricia, Chinwei, keep going down the list, Diana, Vivian, and everybody to do themselves and prove it to people. Not prove that the unblinded formula works, prove that you work, and then say, yeah, there's a formula. Come on. That's the key distinction. Don't try to convince people. I think Eric at some point asked the question, like for everybody, about like, well, what if people, right? This was over the weekend at some point, related to, well, it's 12 hours. Well, I tell you what, if your results and how you're showing up in the world are powerful enough, if you tell people to move to Tibet for 3 months, they will come with you. And not because you explain it to them, because they're so drawn to what you're producing and creating. They'll follow you anywhere. And people will do anything. And that's been proven over and over and over again in the world, for the good and for the bad, right? But the point is that people are going to look at what you're doing, not what you're saying, and what's occurring for you. And that's this initial point. And we have a little fun energy, as well this morning for sure, because we like to have fun, right? And so anchored on that, in addition, quick point, Adam had a couple conversations last night, and someone was like, well, you talked about this licensing thing. Is that really where you guys are going? And that you just want to like license the real raw and not partner with people? Like, that was a legit question. The answer is emphatically no. Here's the hierarchy of desire from worst to best. Worst is you do nothing with us. Next worst is you do only the program with us. Still great. We're super honored. You're our client, somebody you want to serve, hopefully our friend. That's great. The next worst is, okay, you do the program and you license the real raw, but that's still not the connection that we'd love to have. The best is that you not only do something with us, you not only are succeeding, you not only are doing real raws, but you're running real raw opens and succeeding wildly, right? In mutuality, getting paid to market. And the best is that we're building out verticals and working together, as is happening with Bella and Elle, and the things that we're doing and talking about doing here together, and actually with Unblinded Partners, for example. And Bella's just throwing down the gauntlet, Adam and Fernando, ready to kick your butt. And she's like, listen, this is all great, but like, I am the first woman of sales in the world. And by the way, like, first woman of sales in the world is code for. Fernando, what do you think first woman of sales in the world is code for?
First women of sales
in the world is code for?
Nothing pops. What say you?
first person of sales in the world. That's what I think Bella's actually saying. Is that fair, Bella? Is that what you're saying, Bella? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because there has been actual evidence and studies, Adam and Fernando. I got a problem. And the problem is that there are some distinctions, and I have to look into them. I haven't reviewed them myself personally, but somebody was sharing this beautifully in the real raw, that women actually are better salespeople than men. So I'm really concerned about the
There
two
are
guys.
several studies on this. I can provide them for you.
Yes, Bella's ready. So, so I'm concerned because you have a deficit because you're males, Adam and Fernando, and I love you, and I'm a male. So we're in a lot of trouble. But
I'm an anomaly, Sean. I'm an anomaly.
all right, we'll start calling you, X from this point forward, Adam. So
Sean,
yes.
Adam is an anomaly.
Yes.
He's got a lot of heart.
Well, come on, let's go. Let's bring Elle and Belle on. Let's move. You guys want to move your chairs over or jump over here? Okay. So Bella, can you speak into the deficits that these men have in terms of their sales processes and why they're at such a disadvantage when it compares to like yourself and Elle?
Well, I'm going to have to be.
And yes, now I'm in fun energy, everybody. So relax, because this is how we're going to talk here and joke here, because we don't take everything so seriously. We have fun. Yes. Okay.
So I'm going to have to speak in truth, because we also do that and like a lot of the studies that were, women outperform men, it's because like of intuition and heart. And so there's a little bit of a disadvantage. I feel like I'm at, because these two have a lot of freaking heart.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, nobody has, you have immense heart. I won't say nobody has more, but like you have immense heart, my friend. So as well. But
yeah.
Okay.
But freaking so does Adam and Fernando. So I'm
now,
like a little bit.
Elle might be in trouble because she's a straight up Zeus gangster who's monetizing the S out of things. So we might have to help Elle a little bit.
But the reason I think women are better is because they listen more. That's why I think, and that's very much in the formula.
Yes.
Well,
now that's interesting, because the studies I show say that women say twice as many words as men a day, but I'm just kidding.
so let me real quick, Al. So let me optimize that statement. Women are not better. Women are more optimal at sales.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. So there.
Women, how about this?
I'm going to Google to get some PR advice.
So women.
I can send you the Harvard study.
Yes. Harvard is in the building, right? But Harvard also thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So we'll have another
There it is.
about that. I'm kidding. So, right. All right. So what we'll say is that women are more apt to be optimal. So the bias of Unblinded is that women have a better propensity to be a better salesperson. So like Ken Van Loo, Frank Clark, Deepak, D Rush, B Ripple, like, can you guys get with the program? Because like, there's like Bella and Elle are like, you guys are at a huge disadvantage. So let's go. Right. We're having fun, everybody. Relax, laugh, smile. Right. Okay. So yes, as we, you know what, let's just drop in this real quick. So I want us that we were a lot of like super math energy. Like, I don't want to stay away from aspirational a little bit for a minute. Let's just go pure fun. For you, Elle, what was your most fun moment of the weekend where just in your heart, it was just like, it was just funny. It was funny. It was just like, this is ridiculous. Like,
all right.
Don't take mine.
I'm taking, for me, it was watching Bella come in, go and do the mic drop. I mean, that was hilarious.
That was amazing. And what did you find to be fun and funny about it?
Well, just one, that she has a lot of fun energy, and that she's like dropping down the Zeus in the gauntlet, and then the mic drop was just like the bomb. That was just awesome.
And I love how in her body Ella is. And Bella is. I said Ella. It's like a combined.
Right.
Ella Enchanted, right? So that Bella is just like, she just like have fun. And when you're in your body, it carries so much emotional and energetic transference of certainty. There's like ownership over self. And it's like, wow, like who's that? Like so comes across. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
And how about fun energy for you?
Oh my God, Adam, obviously.
Yes.
Like that was the best of the best of the best. And I think there needs to be like an Adam show that like always wraps things up. So
yes.
There's a challenge to learn a new rap song for each ending of every event done by Adam.
Totally amazing. And re-listen to this huddle and just listen how Bella said the word obviously. And you want to understand emotional and energetic transference.
Like that was the best of the
shift and body language. Watch her body as she says it, and listen to the vocal dynamics of how she says the word obviously and what that disruptively did to gain attention and transfer energy. It's an unbelievable example of emotional and energetic transference. Just that one word. That by itself, if you can capture that and take that forward, that's millions of dollars into your future. And I'm gonna be saying this now, and it's gonna eventually, oh my God, another millions of dollar thing. Yeah, it really is. Because that's the distinction that causes. Now, there's a lot of ways that you could lose everything in your process mastery and not gain that millions of dollars. But that dynamic is emotional and energetic transference personified. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I do want to say this as far as like the studies with women and stuff. I do think like what Elle said as far as the level 5 listening, but I think a lot of it also is the level of care and the follow-up, like that women like are willing to go. And what I love with like the formula is that distinction is like also there, and also with like the process that, you know, Fernando and Adam do with like the reaching out and the calls and the connections, like that can also be achieved through the formula.
Boom. Right. And now, so thank you for that. And I think what's also present is this huddle is going to end soon. And like Monday is going to begin. And what are people going to do? So
We're going to take a nap.
Bella's going to take a nap. Elle,
and I'm total action.
Maybe
I've already made 7 calls. We're already working on a $130,000 contract. And I mean, action, action, action. I mean, one thing when Sean laid down the challenge, like have at least 10 people, like everyone is like dropping in the chat. They take the challenge. I mean, George took the hooker and blow challenge, you know, so that was fun. But you know what Rob Gill did? Rob Gill went in the other room, closed the door, and is filling his Real Raw open. Like total action. I love Rob Gill.
Yes. So that is absolutely amazing. Love you. Rob actually was in the process of agreement formation in my bedroom as Adam was rapping with Bella and Diana and Nicole and the who else was in
Gina.
And Gina. Yeah. So as the rapness was occurring. And by the way, if this is your first huddle or you haven't been here before, yes, it is difficult to drop in midstream, and we are crazy and have many beautiful things happening in the world as we make business and acceleration fun, magical, frictionless, freeing, and amazing. Okay, so
now aren't all the people in the huddle, they're all on like Facebook and stuff too, right?
Yes.
Like this. So I would say, you know,
Adam already went viral.
Yeah. So to what Elle said is after this, like go onto Facebook, like where this is being streamed, and like drop your action step for the day. Like what is it that you're committed to today? Like what flag are you putting in the ground? What are you doing today? Like comment on this in Facebook.
Yeah. And that will draw energy and attention to you and what to do with it. And what I was going to say earlier is Chris Crone, right? Because remember, we said things about, social media follows. Chris has 600,000 YouTube subscribers, which is not by any stretch of the imagination the most in the world. But that man has an unbelievable level of process mastery to go from YouTube subscriber to yes. It's YouTube to yes. It's hello to yes. It's Instagram to yes. Mm-hmm. It's Facebook to yes, right? And in integrity. And that's where co-creating here is what it all looks like. And that's what Belle was saying. So she's not saying, post and pray. That's the beginning of a sequencing of opening listening. So listening is open. It's not the end. It is the micro beginning of a series of steps, but a critically valuable one, like to create that leverage. Yes.
Yeah. Cause I'm saying like when we state like, what our action step for the day is, like when we actually like put it out there. Cause like when this is like, people are like putting in the chat, like action steps, but as soon as this is done, like those are going to go away. Yeah. Whereas if you go put it on Facebook, like, you can see what each other are doing, and then like, it's there.
Yeah. And you're accountable publicly. Yeah. And a lot of the things I say on this huddle, or so I put it out there. I'm like, we're gonna do an event, and then, oh my God, I've like burned the boats. We're doing an event. Like we're gonna expand Real Raw. We're gonna do the next thing and have a bunch of people there. Like we're putting it out there. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Put your flag in the ground publicly, and accelerate. So, Fernando, any final, sir?
Final. This is literally what it looks like. I love the energy in the chat. Patricia and fellow leaders, David Rush, doing an amazing job this morning. Bella and Elle just, dropping in with your both beautifulness and inside and out. And Adam, let's get to work. It is Monday. It is, the last week of the month. There is excitement. There is energy. There is yeses. There is momentum. And I'm grateful to be here. So thank you, team.
And if you have anybody that's interested in the program after the weekend, get to communicating with Fernando, and Adam, and let's accelerate and let's have an unbelievable week of people freeing the friction by stepping into yes. And remember, I want to be real. We're not transforming people. We're freeing people. People are amazing. We're freeing them for their acceleration and their money, time, and magic. Have a beautiful Mastery Monday. Elle, we'll miss you, right? Thank you for everything, right? And Bella, you're hanging around, so I'm not hugging you. So everybody have an amazing day. And we'll